When interest rates were creeping up to the 8% range, I heard lots of people starting to look at new construction. Now, why is that? Well, new construction builders will generally offer some sort of incentives to getting into a new build that just isn't offered with the traditional home sale. They can help you with a range of things like reducing your mortgage rate, closing cost incentives, and discounts on upgrades on the home. You are also walking into a brand new home with no issues, and everything is put together and constructed to perfection. It sounds pretty enticing, and there are some really good builders out there that will give you what you're looking for sure. But there are some bad ones that could turn your new home dreams to a nightmare. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Joe Skipper, and I'm the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty out of Oregon. And today we're going to go into 7 of the top mistakes that home buyers make when they get into new construction. But more importantly, how to avoid doing it so that you can get the new home that you love without the regrets. And if you haven't already, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest on the housing market so that you can make the best financial decisions for you and your family, then consider subscribing to my page. I put out content regularly so that you can be more successful, not only as a buyer and a seller on a personal level, but as an investor as well. So let's get into these mistakes so that you can be ready to go when the new construction home comes your way. The number one mistake people make when they buy new construction happens before the contract is even signed, and that is they ignore the research on the builder that's actually building their home. It's one of those weird scenarios where you assume that the builder must know what they're doing if they're building 50 to 100 homes in the community, and they must be successful if they're doing it, but it's just not the case. On a scale of crappy builders to amazing ones, new home builders sit on every part of the scale. Just because they purchased the land and got the permitting to build in your city doesn't mean they know what they're doing. But you can totally and easily avoid getting into a home with a bad builder by doing a little upfront research on them. It starts with a simple Google to get an idea of who you're going to work with. Look at any reviews they have online and see what people are saying. Search things like builder reviews or builder track record and builder reputation. You will find out pretty quickly whether the builder is someone you want to work with or not. The next thing you can do is to ask the builder or their sales agent for customer reviews. They should be more than happy to give you some reviews or contacts to talk to. If they don't, it's a red flag for sure. If you ran a company and someone wanted to check with your previous clients, wouldn't you think it's normal to give them that? Some people aren't comfortable asking for that, so if you have an agent, just ask them to do it. We don't mind asking those sorts of things. Also, check out their build history. If you can, maybe drive to an older development they worked on and see what it looks like after a few years. Now, I personally am nosy, so this may not be for you, but if you go on a nice day, you will generally see people walking around the neighborhood, and you can ask them about how their home specifically was and how their build quality is. It's a great way to find out firsthand what that builder was like. Now, this was probably a tie for number 1, but we had to put it as number 2 because I told you I'd give you 7 mistakes. But this one is a big one that gets overlooked a lot, and that is buyers overlooking or passing on getting a home inspection on new construction. Now, I get it. You think the home is new, so what can go wrong? The builder does have to go through the city or county to get permits, and it gets inspected by them, right? Why waste $600 to get a home inspection to hear that the home's new? Well, unfortunately, this is where a lot of people get hurt in the new build process. Builders and their employees are human. So just like we all do, they make mistakes, they get lazy, they can forget to do certain things. It happens in new construction all the time, especially when these guys and gals are building sometimes 75 to 100 homes or more every day, all day for months. Now, it's not a slap to them at all, but I say it only to show why having a home inspector that you have hired is so important to this process. They will look at everything in the home inside and out to ensure the builders didn't miss anything or do anything wrong with your specific home. Now, they always find something, and it may just be a minor thing or it could be a larger issue, but they do find something, so it's important to have this done on even a new home. The builder or agent representing the builder may try to persuade you away from an inspector and say that the home has a warranty, so you don't need to worry about it. But remember, they represent the builder and not you. And on that note, I'm going to get to the number 3 mistake people make when buying a new construction home is that they underestimate the importance of a realtor for them. For the reason we just talked about with assumptions about new construction being easy, clean, new home, no issues, a lot of people forego being represented by a realtor during these sales. Builders encourage it because they don't want to pay for them, and agents they represent the builders love it because they can offer to represent you and get paid more for each deal. They will entice you with all sorts of incentives and things to encourage you to work with their in-house agent. Now, my buddy in Nevada did it. He thought the same thing that most buyers do and thought it can't be that hard. It's a new build. He was represented by the builder's agent, and guess what? It sucked. Not only were there issues with the home, as most new builds have, but the agent that represented the builder was non-responsive, argumentative, and sided with the builder on most issues, and just overall made this sale that went from a cool new home to a mess. Now, we were talking about it the other day, and he said he should have listened to me when I warned him about this and to get his own agent. So don't make the same mistake he made. Have an agent that is on your side and your side only. A good agent is worth the money and will save you time and stress by knowing what to do and what not to do with the contracts, inspections, negotiations, what's normal and not normal with a new construction home, and they're going to give you the best advice as the process goes forward. Stick with me, kid, and you'll be miles ahead of the other buyers using the builder's agent. So the number 4 thing buyers do that hurts them with new builds is not understanding the contracts and the details with it. Every real estate transaction is a huge deal financially. Because of this, lawyers have been writing all these real estate contracts for years and continue to adjust them on a regular basis. Now, the devil is in the details in these contracts, and different builders have different contracts. Now, one big thing to look at is whether the contracts they use are the standard ones that we use as agents in a home sale, or whether the builder has their own. Now, this isn't necessarily a huge deal if they have their own, but remember, it's their contract. You think they're going to put anything in there that is going to benefit you? Probably not. So make sure you pour over all the details in the contract to make sure what they tell you verbally is on paper. In the real estate world, you need everything on paper in a contract. Make sure everything you want is listed in the contract, as well as all the financial stuff. Number 5 on our list is buyers misjudging the timeline on these builds. Now, this isn't a mistake, but more of a guide for you when and if you go this route, but just know that the date of completion for the builds are ever changing, especially if the new build is really new, like the foundation isn't even poured new. The expected date of completion for new construction generally changes quite a bit. So my suggestion is to just be flexible on it. It's the worst to have a date in mind and get mentally prepared for it and then get a call a week or 2 prior and they tell you it's not done. So just go into it knowing that the timeline is going to change and you'll be off to a good start. Number 6 on our list is skipping the upgrades and customization ideas that they have. When you look at new construction, it can get spendy to do the add-ons and upgrades to your home. And I totally get that, and it's hard to just keep adding and adding and adding to the price. But take a step back when you're looking at them and think of whether these upgrades will help build you equity in the home over the base models. Easy ways to do this are to search on the old Google again and just ask what upgrades are valuable in new construction, or are new upgrades worth it in the new construction homes. Also, your agent, if you have one, will help show you what upgrades will help a lot and what are cool but not needed. In the end, you want to have everything in the home that you want. If you can afford it, make sure the upgrades are first off what you want in the home, and then see which ones you may like or may add value. And last, but certainly not least, and coming in at number 7, is not looking at the neighborhood and surrounding areas before you buy the new home. This is where you need to put on more of an investor hat. Look into amenities, schools, future developments, and evaluate whether this new home is going to most likely appreciate in value over time, or is it a diamond in the rough? When new homes builds are hot, builders will park a home wherever they get land. So don't assume that just because it's a new build that the area surrounding it is good. It may be a beautiful development, but you can't go outside it because you may get robbed. You want to make sure that this investment is going to bring value to you in the future. If you don't want to do some of that legwork, an agent that is good at what they do will help you with all that. Okay, so if you made it through this video and saw the top 7 things that buyers do or don't do that hurt them with new construction, you are in a much better spot than most of us. This is a huge investment, and we can lose sight of that when we see the bright new home and how cool it looks. And they are cool, so you should definitely look into them if you're searching for homes. But let's just do it while avoiding these mistakes and get you into the best home for you and your family. But if you haven't already, if you could like this video and subscribe to my page, I would truly appreciate it. I put out content regularly so that you can go into the home investment journey with the most knowledge so that you can make the best decisions as an investor. Thank you guys, and if you need any help with home buying or selling, shoot me a DM or a text and we can talk about your specific scenario. Thanks.